Hello, everybody. Sidra and Sidra here, CR Wrestling Commentary, and I'm recovering from Omicron B.5 or whatnot, and it's going to take me a while. My voice is predominantly back. Coffee, phlegmy, mucusy, runny nose, and all this.
Yeah, upper respiratory infections trying to get his lungs, so it takes maybe a little longer.
Yep, it's going to take a bit. So, what we're going to talk about, hopefully briefly, will be the whole, I'm going to say elite versus tradition, CM Punk versus the Bucks and Omega. At the media scrum, which was more exciting than the whole, a 15 or 20 minute scrum was more exciting than the whole 5 hour pay-per-view. That's bad.
Hate that word.
Scrum. Yeah, Tony Khan did it. I don't know what the word means. He calls it that. I don't know.
It's a debrief.
I guess debrief is too big of a word or something. I don't know.
After the event happens, then you debrief everybody. That's what they do in the military. After they go out slashing and burning, you come back and debrief.
All right. So everybody should know what predominantly has happened. All right. And I'm gonna explain where a lot of this stuff went wrong, and I'll even use personal situations to show why I think some things went the way they went. So Colt Cabana and CM Punk, friends for a while. CM Punk takes care of him, does what he can, and eventually Punk is like, I'm giving and I'm helping, but I'm not getting anything in return. I'm done with this. Cabana's upset. Lawsuits happen. Punk is like, we don't have to go here. And it's like, we're going to go there. And then that should just been it. Between them, what's done is done. The dumbest thing that any of you can do is tribalize it. I'm on Punk's side. I'm on this side. No, it's on the side of what is reasonable, what is not reasonable. Okay? And there's a twist at the end of this. All right? Because I'm thinking something different. But only time will tell. So going back into this, that should have been the end of it. But when you have friends and those friends are tribalistic and emo, tribalism and emo mixed is a bad cocktail. All right. So his friends being the Bucks and maybe Omega at that time, they are angry now. They're on his side. They're not happy. Ultimately, time passes. Colt Cabana's on AEW, just like he's in Ring of Honor, just like he was in the NWA, just like he was in GCW. I saw like a couple of times. Just like he's anywhere he can get work, because that's what a wrestler is. A wrestler is someone who's trying to find work. So I don't blame him for being in lots of places. That's just the nature of the business. Okay? So, ultimately, CM Punk shows up at AEW. Well, Colt Cabana, I barely saw him used.
He was standing in the background whenever Dark Order was having a interrupted interview.
Yeah, because that's all they do was interrupt interviews. So, CM Punk shows up. A few months later, Colt Cabana's gone. Didn't miss him. No one noticed. When people leave organizations, nobody really notices unless that person's on top. That's usually how that go. Or that person is favored by the viewer.
Or annoying as fuck.
Yeah, depending upon. So, okay. It is easy for Colt Cabana to say, you know what? Dude got me fired. He shows up and then my contract runs out or released or whatever's going on. It's easy. because it looks like it. But then again, the truth be told, Punk showed up and a lot of people left. They were gone. Do you know why? In general, when you're going to get paid 7 figures to work somewhere, that means you got to make cuts elsewhere. Mm-hmm. Vince McMahon was really good at that. That's what business in general, people, business is. If you got a bunch of workers, you are filled to the brim, let's say Walmart, and then you say, we got these machines at $20,000 a pop, that's self-checkout, you're going to make $20,000 a pop cuts. It don't matter if it's the people. It don't matter if it's a certain brand. It don't matter if it's raising prices of certain brands and firing people. But you're going to make those cuts to make sure that you make maximum dollar or don't lose maximum dollar. That's the idea. So when Claudio Castagnoli showed up, other people were gone. Mm-hmm. When high paid people show up, others get gone. That's just business. It sucks, but it also sucks that Tony Khan was just stuck in the WWE mindset of fanboying out and hired everyone that he liked and hired everyone that he was told to hire by the people that are the Bucks and Omega, hiring everybody under the sun. And so, yeah, it's easy to make cuts. If you paying everybody $130,000 each or $1 million each because of their popularity or the niche fan base that they're going to bring to you, yeah, it's going to get you those ratings so long as those people are there. And then you get better people that bring a different fan base. It's time to make some cuts. That's the idea. So that's where this whole civil war of AEW shows up. So you got Punk, you've got FTR, that when their whole thing was the revival, and they was talking trash online, they get released, they go to AEW, they don't get many matches at all, and then when they do face the Bucks, they lose, and then you never hear from them again. And you never heard from them. And slowly over time, they got more matches. And the more matches that they had, and the fans were able to really see them, and they found an actual identity. You know, the Midnight Express motif and the theme song and all this. The more you saw of that, the more the fans popped, and the more, how can I say, sad the Young Bucks looked every single week. They looked sadder and sadder. And I was noticing it, but I wasn't going to do commentary on it. So then you get all this heat. You've got Punk dealing with only those that's actually going to try to work and try to do good TV. And the Bucks working with anyone that's going to be flippy floppy and all over the place. And then the battle lines are more or less drawn. Cody, because Punk got there and other stuff, he couldn't get more money. He didn't get everything that he wanted. He left. He went where he could be noticed and get the treatment that he wanted, that he feels he deserves. He got out of the mix. That's what Cody did. Fast forward. We get more chicanery. We've got the Bucks talking trash. We've got Omega coming back. We've got the trios crap going. You knew the Bucks and Omega was going to win. You knew they was going to take it all. They made sure they main evented. And then, just before that, let me add this. Adam Page going into business for himself. Yes, because I didn't understand his promo on Dynamite that time. Punk was confused.
Well, what the hell is he talking about?
You know, Punk was heavily confused. We didn't know what was happening. And so Punk is like, oh, I get it. Let's do it then. So Punk was upset. Hangman Adam Page sticking up for his friends. See, what happened was the Bucks and stuff kept it backstage and they kept it political. Page came out and exposed the business.
He also exposed that he's not very bright.
Yes, he did. So that right there probably offset the Bucks. It let Punk know and everyone else know exactly where these people stand. And so Punk came after his, he comes back and, the apology has to be as loud and boisterous as the disrespect, which I instantly agree because I have been humiliated on the job by the manager and whatnot. And then in a private room, hey, sorry about that, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah, it's always like that. Like, something blatantly put on the front page of a newspaper that's a lie. And then when they put in the retraction, it's like 5 pages back in a little block.
And in school, middle school, elementary school, getting yelled at and harangued by teachers and stuff in front of the class. Even when the class knew I would be correct. But the teacher got to yell and holler at me. But then privately, yeah, I'm sorry about doing that, yada, yada, yada. And my thoughts then were, and I didn't say anything. I figured getting the apology is good enough. I didn't want to be the bad guy. But at the same time, I'm like this. You're going to yell and humiliate me in front of everyone and then privately apologize. You should apologize in front of everyone. You should be as humiliated as you did humiliate me. It just seems just. So, that's what Punk said. He was like, come on now, you got a problem with me, let's go. Now, in general, dealing with people, those are fighting words. Let's go. It ain't about, let's do this. Like, come on out. You got something to say. Let's hash it out right here, right now. Let's do this. Okay. No, it's let's go. Mm-hmm. He's ready. He's fired up.
Ready to fight.
So, Punk has his match at All Out. After the match, instead of really talking about the match, they want to bring up everything that's been going on. Punk, he calls it out. What's going on? Everything that I stated before, except in great detail. And talks about the EVPs. He won't say the Young Bucks. He talked about, yeah, I got to work with children. I got to work with people I don't want to. And then you can tell that there's a little difference between that and when the talks of MJF saying I got to work with pricks and people that I don't want to work with. Yeah, that there's an easy, quick switch from this is a shoot to this is kayfabe. And at the same time, it makes you wonder. But still, Punk is gassed up. Punk is angry. Mm-hmm. All right.
He's done.
He's like, this is embarrassing to bring up. What is between me and Coach should have been between me and Coach. Nobody else had to be a part of it. Nobody else had to be in it. Personally speaking, there was a person that I knew, and it was an online collaboration here and there. When that person introduced me to a video of someone else demonizing a group of people, I took offense to that. And I'm like, no, that person is gross and I don't want to hear anything else they got to say. So she was angry. She took it personal that I didn't agree with her of the blanketed statements that this person was making, and then saying there are many videos that she has made where she says it's not all of them. And I'm like, and I said, it's not, I'm not going on all the videos that I've never seen or heard. I'm going on this video that I'm listening to right now. And after that, she was so offended that I didn't just cow down and listen to her favorite little YouTuber. She got pissed with me. She was angry because I wasn't cheerleading the thing that she's been with, because I haven't been on that tip of hating dudes. Because I don't want to, I'd rather hate on an individual basis, not just because you are male or just because you said something, it leaves credence to hating all guys. Since I wasn't a part of that, she got mad at me and started the Twitter stupid mean girl thing of throwing memes at me. The whole girl vibe thing, slamming the door in the face stuff. And I'm like, okay, I guess this is it then. Okay, it's over. And I knew it was coming from the way she acted before. And I was prepared. And what happened was she wanted to keep the talk going and stuff. And then one of her friends chimed in, who's got nothing to do with it, saying, I'm trying to take up because you're picking on my friend. And I'm like, picking on your friend. As I said, scroll back, look up at everything. Where did I insult your friend? Where did I insult her? You can't find one. But I was heavily insulted through and through. I was called all kinds of names and whatnot. All because I don't want to be tribalized and just hate all dudes based on what this one woman is saying. Because I don't want to agree with her. She takes it personal. I want to agree with the YouTuber. So at the time, buddy, friend, acquaintance took it offensively. And so that's where you go with the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega. That's why they did what they did. They were saying what they were saying. And then, okay, then they could have been lying. Colt could have been lying to them. When I worked at a job before where I delivered packages, I sat down with somebody who was my supervisor, and he asked me how did I feel about another person. I should have been like, no comment. But no, what I said was, this person, really cool, a ladies' man, people liked him, really awesome, but the company he kept, no one liked. He was a douchebag. No one liked him. So, whatever was said, you could probably hear the lawnmower outside now. Sorry about that. They're cutting the grass. So, from that, I don't know what was said, but the person that I spoke highly of tried to force me into a raffling. That he was holding a raffle. He's like, buy it, buy it, buy it, buy it. And then had nothing but insults. And then I threw insults back. Next day, he's staring at me. It's the high school look. And I'm like, the fuck you looking at? I'll go in. And when I turn my back, he tries to corner me. He's ready to fight. And they try to break it up. I go outside. And he's talking trash. He's insulting me. And I'm like, okay, you got me. You insulted me. You call me these names. Fine. He won't stop. And I hold my arms up like, then what? What is it that you want? But holding your arms up like that is also an indication of ready to fight, which I wasn't even thinking about at the time. So he comes down there ready to fight. The bosses that are this is watching. I mean, like the CEO of the whole company. So I get in the car. It's time to leave. All right. He gets in his car and he follows as close as he can. And then I'm harassed. Work the day. Get back. Manager says, we got to talk. We talk. Me and the person that I'm having an issue with. We go to an area. There's some lady there. I don't know what she's all about, but we have a conversation. And I bust out with, and I can't believe I said what I said. I said you were a decent person everyone liked and a ladies' man, but the person, the company you kept was a douchebag that nobody liked. I can't believe you turned out like this. And then he says, that's not how I heard it. So now I can't be mad at him because obviously he was lied to. The Young Bucks are like a bunch of damn high school kids and girls. And that's how that was. That's why I can assume what they say when the altercation happens after the scrum, where CM Punk is gassed up, when he said at the scrum, we're beyond apologies. When somebody, you don't hear that often. When someone says we are beyond apologies, that means damn what you got to say, damn how you feel or what you go through. When I see you, it needs to be silent passing or we're going to have an issue, a physical issue, because you're beyond apologies. And that's what transpired. Because afterwards, the Bucks and Omega, all three, go to a room where Punk is by himself. We don't know what happened. We don't know what words exchanged. We don't know who started what. And others are talking about who threw the first punch. Shut up. Shut up. It doesn't matter who threw the first punch. It doesn't matter. CM Punk is gassed up, pissed off, angry, embarrassed, shocked, and he wants some retribution. He goes to his room, and then these three yahoos follow him. I don't like what you had to say. Probably some crap like that.
Yeah.
But the fact that you go to the room of someone who's already pissed off at you and has had nothing but negative things to say about you without mentioning your name, but yet say the EVPs, and you go to their room, hey, you should know you're not going there to talk. And here's the thing, if they did think they was going there to talk and hash things out, then they're stupid, because that means that they've done it to many other talent there that disagree with them. That they've gone to the room, and because they're EVPs, because they're Tony's favorites,
Nothing happened to them.
Nothing will ever happen. And so they go in there with that power, just like Punk and anybody else that are high standings can probably say, I'm not going to work with this guy. So then the talent says, the agent or the owner will say, then that person's got to go. Certain little things. Like, I don't know, Ken Anderson, he was on SmackDown. He did his own intro, had a great music, all this other stuff. And then all of a sudden, what? As he said, Triple H got into the boss's ear. That guy's getting kind of over. Maybe he ought to just chill a little bit, So they took away a lot of stuff from Ken Anderson to the point where he was almost meaningless. And then he ultimately left SmackDown and he went to other companies. That's what happened. So this is the crap that goes on. It shouldn't go on this way. Let things organically happen. If you don't like it, step your game up. It's that simple. Don't bury somebody. Don't get them fired. Don't do anything like that. Step your game up if the lower card people are looking better than the upper card people. Step up your game. What are you missing? Don't rest on your laurels. So they go in, and then issue ensues, and A Steel or whatever his name is, he comes in pulls Kenny by the hair and bite him, and all kinds of crap. Here's the thing, I'm gonna go with the one scenario that nobody mentioned. The Bucks go in with Kenny. They got Punk cornered. They want to talk. Punk says, I'm not talking to you. Get out. And they're like, we aren't going anywhere. We're going to have this out because we got to solve this. We got to settle this. And Punk says, I don't want to solve anything. It should have been solved ages ago. Get out of my room now. And they say, damn that. We're going to talk because we're pissed. And Punk, at that moment, is P.O.'d. Do you think he's going to sit there and be like, I just don't want to talk right now? No. He's going to settle it. And a brawl ensues. A Steel's going to take up for his man, especially when it's 3 against 1. And Nick Jackson gets knocked out. So this means those 3 can't beat one person. And I don't care if A Steel comes up from behind and nails him with a chair and knock him out. That's 2 against 3, and they can't win. Maybe they spent time learning to be professional wrestlers. They would have been able to defend themselves because professional wrestlers, by default, are trained to defend themselves.
Back in the day, they had to.
Yes.
They just want to dress up.
They want to dress up, have their little fun, and all this other stuff. So, and yeah, that's the new terminology now, video game wrestling, where it's the indie style, where it's do everything, kick out of everything, and then the match ends abruptly and there's no gain or anything from it, but you had a good match that nobody's going to remember, because nobody's going to remember a match, even if it's a 5 or 10 star match by FTR, nobody's really going to remember it. Now, I'll give it this. Yeah, it's in my head. I'm like, they did wrestle these person, and I know that match was great. And that's it. I can't remember what was in the match. I can't remember the elements, but I remember that match was great. I remember FTR is the one that, if you see them come out, is going to be a good match. And that's it. Nobody can remember wrestling in general anymore. They remember what made them feel good. They remember who they liked, and that's it. All right. So this brawl ensues, and I'll be honest with you, They went to Punk's room.
They asked for this.
Like Sidra just said.
Alone.
Just leave him alone. They didn't leave him alone. And they asked for it. If I piss somebody off in the past, like if I'm talking and my dad gets mad at me, he's like, you better leave me alone. I mean, he's passed now, but still, you better leave me alone. This is when I'm like 15, 16, I leave him alone. Same thing in school. Bullies be like, because they saying something stupid, and I come with some logic. You need to just watch your mouth and shut up. And I'm like, you know what? I see a pattern here. Dad, them is no different.
Somebody
and then,
tell you to get out their face.
Get out their face.
Get out their face, because there's nothing good is coming.
You know, ain't about I'm big and bad. I can just stand my ground. I'm gonna just say no. Why fight? You get no money. You get no fame, no glory. You get nothing out of the fight. There's no need to fight. That's why UFC fighters fight, because they get paid. That's why wrestlers train and work hard, because they get paid, hopefully. That's why boxers train out the wazoo. They get paid. Mm-hmm. They work hard to get up to that big time and get the pay-per-view money, because then they get paid.
They just fighting in the street.
Yep. The people that fight in the street, they're the dumbest people on the planet.
They ain't getting paid. They can get hurt, killed. What they get out of it?
Or go to prison or jail.
Hurt and dead.
Yep. I fucked him up. I knocked him out. Yeah, now you got a broke wrist, a broke hand. Now you in jail. You know, there you go. And then if not that, you done made your whole race or your neighborhood or whatnot look bad. So good job. Thank you. That's all you've done. So the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega, if anything, you know, I'd get rid of them. If Tony Khan got rid of those three right now, even though they're you know, trios champions, if they relinquished the belts, I got rid of them. If he did that, nobody would miss him.
He saved himself some money.
He saved himself a lot of money.
And nobody knows the difference on the show.
Yep. That's it. Nobody, after about 2 weeks, nobody would care. Kenny was gone. Nobody was clamoring for Kenny Omega. Nobody.
Tony Khan is playing show friends.
Yep.
Wrestling friends, not wrestling business.
So that's what happened. And the end twist of this is it could all be a work. It could all be a work to bolster a match of Punk and some people of his choosing against the Bucks and Omega in some long-term storytelling matches over the course of 6 months or maybe 3, or at least up until Full Gear. And then they have it out there where the fans are like, I can't wait to see them beat the hell out of them, whichever side you're on.
I don't see Kenny and the Young Bucks sitting still for that. A 6-month program.
They're sitting still. No, you work it.
They're not gonna work it. No,
you jump. You have your singles matches. You have your regular tag matches, but you never have a trios match. So I'm just respecting what they call it. Not a 6-man tag, but your trios match. And ultimately, I mean, you know, back in the day, you could work it